All right. Hopefully we're back live. Yes? Maybe?
Yes.
All right. Sorry, we had a little technical malfunction. The wireless here at the studio is not the best. We're going to talk real quick about the Christmas special. We're going to get right back into it. To give us the plot of the Christmas special, which premieres the night after Thanksgiving, 7 p.m. on HBO, here is the two-headed monster.
Oh, hello, Manuel. I'm Manuel. I'm Manuel.
Hey, guys. Can you just give the folks a quick, a plot review? Just tell us, no spoilers.
No spoilers.
No spoilers.
Oh, okay.
No spoilers.
Wow.
No spoilers.
All right. Well, maybe this was not a great idea. Okay, thanks, guys. You just go. No, you guys are great. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, you're good too. All right. Sorry
You're
about
watching
that.
us in Poland, Matt.
Fantastic. If I knew something in
That's all right.
Polish, anybody know any? No.
Yes.
All right. We're going to go over here to another section. We're going to ask a puppeteer a thing about not puppets. So, Tyler, we're going to talk to you. You've just now have a bite of banana. That's not great. But here's a question for you. Speaking of bananas, or potentially, what is your favorite food? What kind of food do you love? Like, if you could eat
anything?
Yeah, any kind of food.
I have a tendency to gravitate toward the Italian, the cheesy Italian. So lasagnas, pizzas, things of that nature.
Manicotti?
The occasional manicotti.
Yeah.
But I have to admit that the supreme pizza, or as we used to call it in Monroe, Louisiana, the sweep the kitchen, Johnny's Pizza, everything on the floor.
Nice.
Sounds nice. Thank you. That was a segment we like to call Ask a Puppeteer.
And I had no idea what he was going to ask.
About not puppets.
So there's that.
All right, now we're going to go over here next to Frankie. Frankie, you're up.
Oh, wait, what?
Frankie, wake up.
Wake up, wake up.
All right. Sorry, Newhart.
That's okay.
This is a segment that we're going to call Can You Tell Me How You Got to Sesame Street?
Can you tell us how you got
To Sesame Street. So, Frankie.
Gabba gabba.
Frankie is a cameraman on Sesame Street, Frankie Biondo. He is our beloved cameraman, and he has been here since day one. Is that right?
Yes, first show,
First show.
not the pilot.
No, well,
First
who
show.
was
Well,
on
then
the
forget
pilot,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Then who cares?
Yeah, well,
So you were here for the first show.
yes.
How did you get that job?
Well, we had a studio up on 81st Street, and actually it was empty, and who was doing the pilot was another company. Down the road, about 67th Street, was called Videotape Center.
Yeah.
And they went on strike. The technicians went on strike. So our salesman talked to them and said they took trucks, went right through the line, grabbed the set, and they told the technicians, we had a couple of buildings, to get up to 81st Street, and they drove right through the picket line with the set, and we got it ever since.
And then
And I hated it.
At
in the beginning.
Reed's?
you hated it?
Hated it.
Why did you hate it?
Well,
This
you
is a
know,
scoop.
I've
never heard this.
We were doing a lot of shows.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we got this tall, 8'3" bird with a pointed freaking
Yeah.
head walking down the street, an orange grouch. And he said, who's going to watch this shit?
Oh my God! I knew.
That's all right.
All right, well that's enough. Somebody give him a cookie.
Wait a minute, wait.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Frankie, Matt's mom says hi.
Yeah, Matt, I was just
Hi, Mom.
gonna say,
Hi there, Mom.
we're getting a lot of love
Sorry,
for
Mom.
Tyler.
Oh, great. All right.
Love for Tyler,
Good.
love for Frankie.
What's up, Mom? I'm sorry you had to hear Frankie curse like that.
But we can edit that part out.
We'll edit it out.
Before it airs.
Absolutely.
Frank says beep.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to do a little behind-the-scenes segment. This is maybe the part you've all been waiting for, unless you were waiting to hear that Tyler loves Italian food. But this is Martin Robinson, one of the longtime puppeteers on Sesame Street. And we're going to start small with our behind-the-scenes. Literally very small. We're going to tell you and teach you how we operate some of these puppets.
You know, a lot of the puppets we work are pretty complicated, pretty expensive little things, a lot of training. This is the simplest thing we do. It's a little butterfly. You may have seen them a little earlier in our show, but they're deceptively difficult. You got to get the little things just right. Otherwise, you can't stay still, can't do this.
Yeah, here they come again.
Fly
Here's another
around.
one.
They're invading.
Can they land on them? You can land on me, right?
You land.
This little wing.
Getting a lot of love for Marty. Still love for Danette DeSena says
Hi, Hey, Danette.
Is that how live works?
Yeah, that's how it works.
Did we say hi?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
get comments. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful butterflies.
Butterflies.
Got bats.
And now you want to get you might get a little bit more complicated. We go Slimy the worm.
Ah, yes.
Oh.
Slimy the worm
Hi, Jonathan.
has 2 rods.
John Little.
Bing, bing, bing,
Hide all you
bing,
wonderful people.
bing.
Now, if my arm wasn't there, you would see Marty working the puppet
And
like
I would
that.
go, wonk, bing, wonk.
And what's
bing,
this on your
wonk.
finger here?
This is his little mouth string. Now, it looks like there's a little mechanic in there, which it kind of is, but really it's just the foam returning to the natural foam shape. And Slimy doesn't really have a voice, but he's very, very eloquent for a mostly silent character.
Getting a lot of wow emoticons from
Wow,
Yeah, we
right.
got
And he can jump.
Raleigh Cruson says
Hey, Raleigh.
Raleigh's one of our builders.
And one of my favorite little things, this is called the Gunfighter Walk.
Ah.
I don't use that one too often, but
Not very often. And you have bats to show us as well,
we got
right?
a little bat. Now this bat is one of our slightly more complicated bats. Remember the batty bat? That's right, a classic. He's got a little mouth that works here. It's on this little trigger right there. And his little wings can go in when he sings a song.
Look at that.
But actually, I actually worked this guy in the Batty Bat song, hanging from a ladder upside down.
Wow.
But most of the bats we use are just kind of fluttery bats, and they're not like butterflies. They are a lot more frantic.
Matt, you should be used to this. You're the count.
I know.
Yes.
It's but
So you want
look at them.
to instill still a little bit of fear, in the,
Yes.
just a tiny bit. They're a little creepy.
Getting a lot of old faces.
Nice.
Ooh.
Terry Angus says hello from Nova Scotia.
Oh, hey, Terry, how are
Old
you?
friend, hi Terry.
We're getting shout outs for everyone.
Yeah,
Wow.
for real.
All right, so
We'll do some more complicated stuff in later episodes.
Yes, hopefully.
We're working
thank
up
you.
to it.
All right, so I mean, this is kind of a nice experiment. Did this seem to work? This was kind of fun, right, guys? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Right.
What can we expect to get next week, Matt?
Next week, well, maybe we're going to be off. The next live show, we are going to have a special report from the Thanksgiving Day Parade from Prairie Dawn. A special report. That is, I'm anticipating that's going to
Terry
happen. Not
Angus.
live, but it'll be on our next live show.
Terry Angus says he did this stuff in Fraggle Rock, and he asks, didn't bats used to be eyes with wings? Marty, would you know that?
No, the bats were always like this.
Bats
How
are
old
bats.
are you, Terry?
Hello, Center for Puppetry Arts and Elizabeth
right.
Leary.
Any questions? Any questions come through that anybody noticed? Or have we answered everything?
Well,
We may have.
some folks wanted.
Ah,
What is
Frankie,
known
can
for
you give us
Frankie?
in a profanity-free answer what it was like to work with Frank Oz
And Jim Henson.
and Jim Henson?
Forget about it.
Nothing.
No, it was great. It was great. And Richard Hunt, too.
Richard Hunt.
The best talent I ever met.
Best.
So, as I said
Very
at the top of the first part of this two-part live video, Stephanie DeBruzzo wrote the theme song for Below the Frame, and now we have the Muppet Lounge Band featuring Peter and Pam and Frankie, and it looks like Ryan. What do you have, Ryan? Is that an instrument?
Hey, I'm a green pepper. What do you want from me?
And very good. And Jan, you're going to sing,
singing, yeah.
and Leslie, you're playing the Tiny Hands
Tiny
and the
Hands
dog.
and Newhart.
Very good. All right, so this is the ending theme for Below the Frame. And until then, we'll see you next time, the week of December 5th, probably the Thursday, maybe in this
The
same
8th?
slot. I
Thursday
think it's
the 8th?
Yes, it is.
Thursday the 8th of
And
December.
that's it. And we're just going to play until Teresa calls us back to the floor.
Perfect.
Great.
Here we go. We've
One,
got better
two,
than-
And now you're all in the know because you joined us for our little show and saw us all go, go, go. Go, go, go. Below the frame. Bye, everyone.
All Sesame Street Puppeteers, shoot us that, please.
Gotta get back, guys. Back to work.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
See you, Terry Angus.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Bye, Ronnie Cruson.
Bye.